they are very tribal, and they do have a cult its own way is very nurturing. Yeah,
Mhm.
they have a lot of creeds. You mentioned one in the movie is the old take care of the young take care of the old. So they are a very close knit unit for me when way of doing things that's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people of all ages, welcome back to the Sticky Floors podcast. I am one of your hosts, CJ. I am joined by Mr. Will. Like every year we do like a Star Wars film. And so we did Revenge of the Sith 2 years ago in May. Last year we did Empire Strikes Back. This year we missed like the May the 4th movie, but
Yeah.
fortunately for Disney and Star Wars worked together to give us a new movie to talk about. So tonight we are covering The Mandalorian and Grogu. This is your first time with us. Thank you for joining. We got literally 100 plus episodes that are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where we want you to like, subscribe, and share. Theaters in like never was in theaters this season for our season 12, which is amazing in and of itself. We in the theaters a lot. We in the theaters a lot. If you listen to the show, you're gonna know where you best put your money because we know summertime is coming, gas prices is up. Got to think about where you're gonna put those dollars, man. So we covered In the Grave for you to help you with that. Now we talk about The Mandalorian and Grogu to help you with this as well. And we're gonna help you all year. Stimulus package from Sticky Floors. We're doing it for you. Mr. Will, what's up with you, my man? How you doing tonight?
You mentioned it earlier in the pre-production joint about going back to the theaters and just what that looks like. So like Ray and now The Mandalorian and Grogu. I am very amazed, man. Like I am really amazed. And I don't know why I should be because it's the summer and there's always the summer blockbusters. But there's a lot of stuff from our childhood that's now to the main screen.
It really
just
has.
by watching the previews and everything. Like we're going to do a few things that I would have never thought would be in the movie theaters again. Like He-Man.
Right.
Yeah,
Crazy.
the Masters of the Universe joint. Even with another more like I'm really surprised that they're revamping these things relatively soon after they've already come out.
Yeah, man, we're in a time of nostalgia. Nostalgia's big, man. Nostalgia is where we want to reinvest our childhood when things were a little bit easier, and reality was so diminishing. It feels a little bit better to plug into some of these vibrant colors and these stories of clear good and evil. And The Mandalorian and Grogu gives that, I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things that sits very squarely in that. And for us, I know we're going to get into this and it'll be impossible for us not to reflect on our history with Star Wars movies as well. But it's like, there's so many things about this film that are like just refreshing in the sense that they remind me of my experience going to the movies years and years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let's jump into it, man. Give us the summary on The Mandalorian and Grogu so we can get into this joint, man.
Set in the expanding galaxy of the Star Wars universe, this narrative follows Din Djarin and Grogu as they undertake assignments as autonomous operatives for the New Republic during the tumultuous aftermath of the Empire's disintegration. Entrusted by Commander Ward with a perilous assignment to locate the elusive Imperial warlord Coyne, Din Djarin is instead propelled into the labyrinth underworld of the Outer Rim when the Hutt twins demand the recovery of Yoda the Hutt, Jabba's estranged son and heir to the criminal dynasty. In exchange for critical intelligence, their pursuit leads them to the brutal gladiatorial arenas of, and I'm probably going to butcher this, so bear with me, Shikari.
That's good. No, I like that's how I had it too. Yeah.
Where Yoda, desperate to emancipate himself from the suffocating legacy of his bloodline, refuses rescue and becomes enslaved within the sadistic ambitions of the syndicate warlord Janu. As Din and Grogu navigate treacherous alliances, monstrous battlegrounds, and the fractured remnants of imperial power, they uncover the harrowing revelation that Janu and Coyne are one and the same, exposing a clandestine conspiracy designed to resurrect authoritarian dominion beyond the reach of the New Republic.
There it is, man. Yo, first of all, that breakdown, man, really like encapsulates the complexity of the story in a way that it felt so much simpler. But when you explain it, I'm like, Dang, these dudes really put some time into thinking about this, man. This is
I took your joint, man. I took notes in this joint, so that's why I'm saying like some of the names where I might
mhm.
mispronunciate the name of a planet is because like I was trying to write the joint down real
Yeah,
quick
right at the
in the
time.
dark,
Yep.
yeah, and then
Yep.
I'm also trying to like go back and remember based upon like how did I feel in the moment, so that I
Hmm.
still capture that same energy because this movie is a continuation for a lot of people that know from the what you call it, the Disney Plus series, The
Yep.
Mandalorian and Grogu, and it
Yep.
even is a little bit from the whole Boba Fett joint where he
Absolutely.
interacts in as well. So like trying to balance that out, remember the nuances, the things that I bring to it, like my own biases and what I want to see, versus also trying to remain neutral and trying to give the audience a balanced perspective, but yet give them information that they may need in making a critical decision where they're going to spend their hard-earned dollars this summer, man. Because entertainment is wild for the kids, man. Whether you're taking them to camps, whether you're going on family vacation, or whatever it is you do, here at Sticky Floors, we're trying to help you out, like CJ said, with that stimulus package.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, man. So this joint right here stars, of course, Pedro Pascal, Sigourney Weaver, which, yo, Sigourney is an incredibly unique name. I've always heard it and read it, but I just really realized, like, wow, that's a really unique name, Sigourney Weaver. It was good to see her in here. I feel like she
Yeah.
said, "I'll be in here, but I got to be an X-wing fighter at some point too." So I felt like that was a part of the deal for her.
And she's a
Al-
colonel, too.
yeah, yeah, she came up. She came up since the show.
Mm-hmm.
Also got Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, man, a show that I love to watch and then think I know
Yeah.
how to cook after it. Johnny Coyne, Martin Scorsese is also in here, which
That
just,
messed me up, too.
yo, shows you how much people love Star Wars movies,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Even Martin Scorsese's like, yo, just let me get a bit roll. Just let me get a little taste. A little taste of Star Wars, man. Just pour it in my hand. You know what I mean? So it was like, that was good. Directed by John Favreau and written by Dave Filoni, who, we talked about this earlier. I really think he gets the essential nature of what Star Wars is,
Definitely.
and he's like, trying to navigate two things. I think about the timing of this movie coming out right after the Darth Maul Shadow Lord show, which I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed,
Yeah.
coming out as well. So just really kind of seems like he's like stepping in that role in that position, and this is a good continuation of it. And as you said, man, the movie is building off the 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, really 3.5 if you count the second half of the Book of Boba Fett, which was just like that. And that's a good segue into one of the things I was thinking about when I was watching this, which is like this idea of Disney/Star Wars is trying to really emphasize a circular loop of, we've made a show, we've built the following from these, 8 episode series, right? You know the characters, and now we're going to give you the continuing story as a movie. And we think that you're going to buy the movie, and then you're either going to experience the movie for the first time, and because of that, you'll go back and watch the shows, or because you watch the shows, you're now going to go watch the movie. And it's interesting to see like if it kind of works, because like you and I remember they've talked about doing this with a lot of different movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of shows. Remember they used to say that the last episode of The Sopranos would then continue into a movie, and that didn't happen, right? Or like most recently, the last episode of The Boys was in the movie theaters for one day before posted to Amazon Prime. So the idea itself is not new, but the execution is interesting because they've spent significant time and money in developing this character of the Mandalorian and Grogu, or as Baby Yoda, as us aficionados from the past like to call it. And it's just interesting to see like if the execution of it works.
I have a problem where, and we referenced this before. You came up with the term, is it preserger?
Yeah, Berserker. Yep,
Preserger,
the Berserker. Yep.
where, and this is going to tie in probably to my hot take, but, you want to see certain things on the screen, based upon what we thought was canon, but is now termed legend or
Hmm.
legacy. You want to see certain things because it makes sense. And, you have your perspective, this universe that you grew up with. Like Star Wars is in 77, and literally a host of people grew up with this.
Yeah,
And
one of them. We're some of
yeah,
them.
yeah. And so, like, as they've expanded the universe, some things hit, some things don't. It comes with the territory. But the surprising thing about it is, look, I am. true to what you've already put out to. So if you said Luke Skywalker is a lefty, his hand was chopped off by his dad, Star Killer, you expect to see Star Killer, but
Mm.
they're not giving you what you want. You're not seeing Star Killer, and they're not making it make any sense. The Mandalorians, the Mandalorians are supposed to be the antithesis of the Jedi.
Yeah.
They were
Mm-hmm.
on another planet. All of their weapon and gear are made and designed to neutralize the strengths of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see any Jedi Mandalorian fights. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, like it's just like, what are we doing here?
Mm.
Simultaneously, you don't see like any more of the Mandalorians people. Like you don't see multiple Mandalorians. You
Yeah.
saw them in the show, but what
Yeah.
happened to them? Like, aren't they with you or anything? Like where'd
Yeah.
they go?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is the movie is actually very intentional, I think, about not doing a lot of exposition that
Mm-hmm.
would explain all of that. Like, even in the scene when the Hutts are like, wow, we took your helmet off and
Yeah,
this is the defile of the Mandalorians. He could have said, yeah, this happened to me already once. But he does it because the circular story is like, you would know that if you watch the show.
but I
With the
also think
movie,
that's a part of Cat. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think the part of that is with Kathleen. I want to say Turner, but that's not her name.
yeah,
The
I know you're
vice
thinking
president.
about. I know you're thinking
But
about.
like, she's messing up everything, man. Like, I don't know if it's true or not, but on the rumor mill, it was the whole thing about her mandating that uh, Pedro Pascal's face be shown, and that's why the helmet was
You're talking
removed.
about
So
back in the show. Yeah.
no, I mean in the show and in the movie. So I had already anticipated that his helmet was going to be taken off in the
Mm-hmm.
movie as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
they weren't going to have him go throughout the entire movie with the helmet on. I already knew that from the rip based upon that, which ties into what you were saying before I rudely interrupted you.
Nah. It's a conversation, man. It's a dialogue. But like, the question is like, does it work? Like, does it work to have can you build the file? I mean, I guess we'll see. Like, can you
Yeah.
build the momentum of getting somebody to go and watch something in a theater that they've been watching at home for the last 4 years? And Disney tried to do this with Ms. Marvel. You know what I mean? They built the character through that show, and they obviously put her in the Marvels, and we reviewed the Marvels, right, as well, and we had all kinds of problems with that, not necessarily even related to that particular character, but just the whole execution in general. The question is like, can you do this with the Mandalorian? Because I know watching it, I was kind of sometimes thinking like, could I've watched this as an 8 episode series, or is there something new that's being told to me by watching it here?
See, and that's the other thing too, though. I get, this movie was specifically made to utilize the IMAX 3D stuff. That's how I saw it.
Okay,
So
okay,
like that's
yeah, I
like
didn't
how
see it
they
on
were
IMAX. Sorry.
filming it. So like I get it. It's a money grab. You know what I mean? Simultaneously, anytime you have the people that make the videos or make the TV shows or make the movies from a creative standpoint, they don't care about the money. They're not cognizant of that. They're just trying to bring their vision to the screen. Whereas you got the peanut counters and the accountants or whatever have you, they're more concerned about, is this going to make a profit? So if I spend, in this case, 150 million dollars, and then I advertise another 100 to 250 million dollars, this movie has to make at least 600 to 650 million dollars
Yeah,
just to break even. So
yeah.
all this ridiculousness about movies making billions, those days are gone. Just like the days of printed newspaper and the days of like music CDs and such going platinum and diamond and gold. Like that's not happening, man.
Wait, you don't think that Avengers is going to do a Billy?
There are outliers. You know what I mean? In this joint,
Spider Man is going to do a Billy?
we're going to be in the movie theaters for at least 10 movies. We've already done 3.
Right.
Those are 2 out of the 10. That's 20%. If
Yeah.
we were playing baseball, you'd be in the minor leagues.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting like take on the capitalism side of
People don't
it.
have money like that, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about it. Gas is anywhere from
No, I got
four
I'm
fifty
yeah.
to
No,
$10 a gallon.
yeah. No, I got you. I got you on the inflationary reality.
Yeah, and they
It's
keep
it's gonna
increasing
be
Netflix and everything.
it's gonna be interesting to see though, because I do think that this year is like the year of major motion pictures built on things that like IP that we recognize.
Mm.
So like Toy Story 5, obviously IP recognized. Supergirl, IP recognized. Spider-Man, IP recognized, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, The Mandalorian and Grogu, Doom 3, the Avengers. So it's like it'll be a really interesting test over the course of the year to see if like that works. It's also going to be a test for this movie to see if this model works because if it does, maybe the next thing is a Daredevil movie. You know what I mean? Like they built the I can't say they built the audience because Netflix built the audience years ago with the original Daredevil
Mm-hmm.
show, but like obviously Born Again has built it. Maybe this allows them to do a Daredevil movie. Maybe that's the future of the Defenders movie.
Oof.
Defenders thing is that, like can they do that? So it's just a thought that I had as I was watching it because Star Wars is this unique not it's not even a unique place. It's in this really place where a couple things are where it is creative, it is art, it is product. It's all of those things because they're trying to sell you the baby Yodas, they're trying to sell you the Mandalorian helmets, they're trying to show you the action figures. They're gonna sell you a bunch of Rada Hulk huts with the
Oh
abs
man,
and everything.
yeah,
They're gonna sell you that because there is a product part to it, and there's a story part to it, and it's a business. It's the intersection of all those things. It'll be interesting to see how that delivers on it. But
yeah.
I wanted to pivot to the actual story itself because I know like you had some things you were thinking about in terms of just where the movie puts the character of the Mandalorian when he enters here.
Yeah, because the Mandalorian people as a whole, they are very tribal, and they do
Mhm.
have a distinct culture where in its own way is very nurturing.
This is
They
the
have
way.
they
Hmm.
have a lot of creeds. You mentioned one of them,
Hmm.
one of their slogans. The other one that they reference in the movie is the old take care of the young take
Hmm.
care of the old. So they are very close knit. Even though there's two different factions, they are a very close knit unit where they interpret the spirit and the essence of the Mandalorian. I'm talking about the figure
Hmm.
um, in different ways. But it's problematic for me when one, if you're going to have this regimented way of doing things that's not consistent. So, for example, Grogu doesn't have a helmet. Grogu doesn't have full body armor, but he wears a Jedi robe. So that amalgamation, that's going to be
Hmm.
problematic in the further growth and expansion of his powers because he's quick to use the Force and to his father,
Yeah.
yet he's not supposed to have any attachments. So the person who's his mentor is also a substitute father figure. And we saw what happened with that with Anakin and the dark side. And the thing too is about his species is very unique in that they're going to outlive all these people that they interact with. How do you balance that when that's really Yoda? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like, what are we doing here? Like,
It's a good question, man. And I think the movie itself tries less to deal with it than the show tried to deal with it because the show went through the Grogu being with Luke. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, trying Luke being like, "Yo, dog, what you gonna choose?
yeah, you got to
Choose the
choose.
sword and you join me. Choose the armor and you with Jin Darin. And good luck to you. Either way,
Yeah, he's away.
either
I'm
either
straight.
way, I'm good, right? But it's like that's also a part of the story that the movie doesn't really try to fill in for you, but
Mm-hmm.
you have this luxury of having known the whole story in the continuum. You know what I mean? Like I was sitting in the theater, like for some people, this is their actual first experience with
Yeah,
these characters, right? Whereas, like for me and you, we look at Grogu and all we see is Baby Yoda. I'm calling that dude Baby Yoda for 5 years now. It seems weird to call it Grogu.
it would be even more insulting if you were going to sit there and be like, "Oh, that's Yachty's son." Yachty is the
Yeah, I know what
female
you're talking about.
Yoda version, and even that threw me off when I found out that Yoda wasn't a one-on-one and that there was a female out there,
Yeah.
years ago. And I'm just sitting there like, how did that go over? That didn't. So I guess they're making a very conscientious decision to promote this character of Grogu, especially as an infant or a young pre I don't know, prepubescent entity. You can't even call him a man. Like the
Mm-hmm.
whole Rhoda joint.
Yeah,
I'm a
bro. Yeah.
yeah, okay, dude. Like later that, but all right. I just I wrestle with it because I understand from a logical, real standpoint that this is for kids.
Yeah.
And Star Wars as a whole, one could argue is made for kids. And
Yeah.
that, who are these adults trying to superimpose their belief system on something that, you know, Let's face facts. It's fiction. This
Yeah.
is not real. This is not, canon, if you will, or,
Mm-hmm.
biblical scripture. So what are we talking about? But at the same time, where you have a very fervent fan base, you're going to have a lot of zealots. You're going to have a lot of individuals who are like, nah, what are you doing here? This is mine.
Yeah,
It's
we own it.
theirs.
Yeah,
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 you know what
we
I
own
mean?
this. Yeah, exactly.
So the
And I
stakes
think,
get raised.
yeah, and that's part of what's really makes the shows suffer more. Like
Yeah.
the shows that people are like tearing them joints apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in some ways, like even for me to sit in a theater and just like see a Star Wars movie is is a joy in and of itself. Right now, I was sitting there like, dang, I wish I could have that, especially that crawl
Yeah.
and hear
Hmm.
that music. Like that would be the next level for me, right? But I think like it's gonna get into my hot take. Like this is where we have to figure out like where's our story now in this? Because the Mandalorian and Grogu is a new part of the story. You know what I mean? It's not in the same way we are, and it doesn't. That doesn't mean that we can't like it. Obviously, we got cake for this joint too, man. And yeah, let's get to the cake, man. Let's go. What's the cake that you got on the Mandalorian and Grogu?
Yeah, so I don't want to sound so cynical about this movie because there is quite a lot of things in here that I really am keen on. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, like I like the opening action scene. They
Very good
didn't
scene.
mince
Mm-hmm.
words; they got right with it because they knew that that's one of the stronger appeal things that are relevant to Star Wars: the action itself.
Yep.
So, whether it be blaster fire or a snow scene a la Empire Strikes Back or things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So they use a lot of nostalgia and a lot of references that draws the older audience members in, but
Yep.
also as a new experience for the younger people so that they can kind of intermingle together.
Yep.
Um, Definitely, I like the dragon snake because it remind me of Conan the Barbarian fighting the cobra
Mm-hmm.
on this comic book that my dad had. So like I like that reference. It looked and because it was like pale, it reminded me of like Cersei, not Cersei. What's the chick from um, uh, Game of Thrones where she had the dragon?
I never
Khaleesi.
watched. Yeah, I never
Khaleesi.
watched Game of
Yeah. All
Thrones.
right.
I'm
So
not. I'm
like
not on that. Yeah.
it just had a lot of references that like made me like reminisce and hearken to things that I've seen, so where it was easily relatable, and it was like these reference points that drew me in even further because I liked them on visually on other screens too.
Of course.
And then oh man, I love this whole world building experience expansion. Like they're going to the outer rim, they don't always venture over there, and you're
Mm-hmm.
introduced to all these little things like that downtown street area reminded me of New York City tries
Oh yeah.
in
Yep.
Times Square where you got the street vendors cooking up stuff whatever have you, and they are kind of like at the epicenter of information and such.
Mm-hmm.
You said it in the what you call it in the pre-production meeting about the whole they even though they bit Thor's style, that arena fight and
Yeah,
everything
I loved it.
and
Yeah,
the menagerie of
agreed.
animals and such, that was really dope. I definitely like the revelation of Janu and Kane being the same individual.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see that coming. I
Yeah.
probably should have. In hindsight, I'm like, all right, it makes sense. Whatever. I should have seen that. But immediately while I was watching it, I just thought he was going to lead him to another dude who is more imposing and more wicked and cunning, not this bald headed, overweight dude. But that's just me. And then last but not, I think that the overall tone of the movie, because of the themes of loyalty, family, respect, sacrifice, integrity, not resulting like to battling as a like Jin Din Djarin says, like, fighting should be a last resort, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. Like I could relate to those things and they really meant something to me. What you got, man?
There it is. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the same things. Yeah, opening scene, I loved it. The Easter eggs that are a part of it,
Mm.
just being a person who, I've said this when we did Star Wars movies in the past. My first movie I ever saw was Return of the Jedi. So to like have that reference to Jabba the Hutt and then just visually in my head snap back in my memory to seeing Princess Leia choking Jabba out with that chain, it was just a great like memory in my head. I know it sounds kind of nuts when I said it out loud. It
But I
sounded
get what you're
crazy, right?
saying.
But yeah, but no, that's what I meant. The gladiator scene. So what I thought was kind of neat was there was a point where they kind of lifted the visual,
Yeah.
and the gladiator room sort of reminded me of Chewbacca's chessboard because it was
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
it was spots on it that were covered and there were aren't. And it just reminded me of, like, of course, seeing Chewie, play with different people on that chessboard. Grogu using Rey's force healing power. Remember
Yeah,
from the
that was dope.
last one?
See, that part of like them implementing stuff that was canon,
Yeah,
like that's dope.
yeah, just the visual of it, or seeing like Grogu walking through the forest with a stick like Yoda,
Hmm.
right? Like that was
That I
cool for
caught
me.
that automatically. Yeah,
Yeah. And then what about the pilot droids for the Huts are actually from the Phantom Menace
Menace. Yeah, with the long, like,
with the
elongated
long
heads
things?
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So those, like, I just love those little Easter eggs, and I appreciate how they were dropped in there. The
Oh, you forgot
score.
one too, man. Even what you call it? The what's Bink's people, the dude who was helping him out in the bog. He mentioned the planet. Man, I'm drawing a
Oh,
blank.
did he?
Yeah,
Okay. All
and he
right,
was
cool.
like, yeah,
I missed
something or
that.
whatever, like, my people or whatever, whatever. Because he was the one who was swimming in the water
I missed
when
that.
they were
Okay.
going
Yeah.
back and forth and everything, and then he ended up on the rocking chair.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so
That's a good one. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one, man. And then of course, like the score, I love the score. I love the music. You mentioned it in that like city. I
yeah,
like how they kind of jazzed up the score a little bit.
mm-hmm.
So like it fit differently there. And
Yeah.
then the Swole Hut, man. Swole, like, that was
Rhoda was
my
cut
Rhoda,
like
yeah, Rhoda the Swole, like, that was my dude. I loved him. And the interaction between him and Grogu was just always
yeah.
a joy for me to watch. So that's what I definitely had as far as the cake goes. What'd you have on the hate though?
All right. So you know what? I'm trying to balance it out. I'm not gonna go as hard, but there are things that I didn't like.
Of course.
So the constant foreshadowing.
Hmm.
He's gonna grow. He's gonna have to learn what it's like on his own without you. How that's gonna happen. Like I knew
Yeah.
something was gonna happen to Din Djarin, whether it be
Hmm.
them killing him
Yeah, they
or
sold that.
them
Yeah.
him having being injured or whatever have you. I knew something was gonna happen. There was speculation that he wasn't even gonna be in the movie because of the whole issue between him and Kath and the mask thing and money. So I was just like, all right, they're gonna kill him off soon. I wasn't a fan of the whole repeated, capture, escape, capture,
Yeah.
betrayal, escape.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man,
Yeah.
like a little redundant here.
I agree
Uh,
with that 1,000%. Yeah.
like there's too many confrontations with multiple different enemies. And I get it's supposed to set up, he is a bounty hunter or has bounty hunter roots and he's now an independent contractor. But, like that's a little bit on the redundancy side as well. You can't really tell who's who. The stakes are high, but how high are they when they're bringing in another villain or villains to supplement or outdo the so-called or what you perceive as the so-called main villain? And then Grogu's, like I mentioned before, Grogu's supposed to be a Mandalorian, but he doesn't have a helmet. He doesn't have any of the true traditional weapons completely. Yeah, he's the chest plate. Yeah, he's got the whole little arm wrist shooter, but other than that, where's the flamethrower? Where's the backpack? Where's the what you call it, the traditional gun? He doesn't even carry a gun. So it's just like, all right, what's up with that? And then, miraculously he always survives what's going on. Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
doesn't incur any injuries. Now I get it, he's supposed to be a kid. You can't really have on-screen injuries to a kid,
Hmm.
but that's the whole problem with him being Grogu the kid. Can't have a
Yeah.
kid in these very high adventurous, stakes are off the Richter scale, and then this dude comes out walking like, yo, uh, I'm unscathed, nothing happened to me. Why are you all beat up? Like, what are you serious? The predictability throughout the entire show, excuse me, movie.
Movie, right?
Um,
It's right.
there you go.
Freudian
Freudian
slip for
slip.
that one. Yeah.
And then, last but not least, we talked about it. No Jedi's. But even if there's no Jedi's, there's no Wook, there's no or anything like that to supreme figure out the point. Like you don't know that what's going on over there. Like on the real, I want to see Sam Witwitter or Sebastian Stan or Jacob Elordi or my boy Richard Madden, who was in the recent Amazon show that just jumped off. I want to see them as Star Killer. I want to see the Old Republic. I want to see Keanu Reeves somehow make an appearance as Darth Revan. What you got on uh, the dislike hate
Yeah,
slash
yeah, yeah. The
dark
hate,
side?
man. Yeah, the hate, man. The hate. The hate. We gotta let the hate flow through us. You know what I
I'm
mean?
trying. I'm
We
trying to
got to
be.
do that,
I'm trying
man.
to be diplomatic, man. I don't.
Hey, man, it makes us stronger and it gives us focus. You know what I mean? You're right. The Grogu part, it just the Mandalorian like putting Grogu on his shoulder and taking him into these war zones makes no sense whatsoever. And this is where the product part comes in because I'm sure that they have done assessments of it, and the Q
Oh
score
yeah.
is high when Grogu's on the screen, right? Like, yo, listen, I bought my nephew one of those Grogu things because we were
Oh
watching the
yeah.
show, and he
No.
loved it. And I got to tell you, that thing walked by itself, and it was terrifying in the middle of the night to be in the kitchen and watch this thing walk around the corner because my nephew wanted to play games. You know what I mean? So it's cute on screen in your house and at
Yes.
2 o'clock in the morning. It's not cute, trust me. But yeah, but that was the one thing there. You're right about the whole rescue capture. It just never really felt like there were stakes. I
No.
do think the movie, the Mandalorian character itself is like Space John Wick. And with it, like he could be like a really violent kind of character. Like you see him stabbing people, he's shooting people. They're trying to balance that with these little like creatures that are walking around who like can repair stuff. Like the tone is kind of a strange thing for me in a movie. And I think in a show, maybe it works a little different. But that was one of the things I kind of noticed in the experience. You talked about the snake. I didn't like the water snake. I thought it looked kind of fake actually to me,
Really?
but I did. I like the little snakes, the little
Yeah.
ones, but the big one just seemed the CGI was a little bit thrown off for
I'm
that.
in reverse. I didn't like those things jumping out anyway. I like the big snake.
There it is, man. It's art. Art is up
Mm.
for interpretation. And then two other things. I thought the movie kind of dragged a little bit when it was Grogu by himself. When Mando got knocked out. I know like why they're doing it because everybody wants to see Babe Grogu, but I also thought there's something interesting about the two characters when you think about it. With the Mandalorian, you can't see his face, so his voice matters so much, right? Then with Grogu, he can't talk, so what he's doing matters so much. So when you're watching the two of them together, the interplay is better than when you're watching either one of them by themselves. So it's like they need both of them to show the emotion of what's really happening in the moment. And the part where Mandalorian was knocked out for like, it felt like it was 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't that long, it just felt that way. That kind of dragged it down for me. It's just when the three Huts fighting, it just looked like three wet turds wrestling with each other to me, man. It's just probably no way to make that visual work. But it's just when I was watching it, I was like, man, what is this? Man? Who made this happen?
The crazy part about that is I thought they looked like black tongues, man. I'm like, I don't know if they're black tongues or slugs, yo. So
it looks nuts. It's a nuts visual. Like it just, and they were slopping around.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, the visual.
Like,
you know what it reminded me of? There's this commercial where it's got the principal and like a secretary on stage in an auditorium, and the students are watching, and they're supposedly in the act of, and they have mayonnaise all over them. So the students are like, ew, because you hear like,
yeah, don't do that ever again, man. Like, I might have to edit that out, man. I have to edit that joint out, man. Don't. Ugh, that was
I'm just the point is, it sticks with you, and now you're associating it with something else,
right?
Kind of like how you mentioned the little guys, the I don't know, the mechanics.
the little
mechanic dudes, they're the Anzelians, Anzelians, and honestly, anytime I see like these little things, even Grogu, I'm thinking like, oh, those are gremlins. Like those are.
Oh, how about that?
So I'm like,
yeah, that's how about that reference? Yeah,
yeah.
gremlins.
So I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
it's even more of what's that new stereotype, because that's what what's his face was oh man, what's the guy in the prequels who they wanted, Jar Binks.
Jar Jar. Mm-hmm.
So you know, like how the stereotype was, he was a black man, a Jamaican specifically, and he was clumsy, he was cumbersome, he was a nuisance, and he was very inept. Whereas with these guys, like, they look like stereotypical things that were posted during World War II of Chinese people. So like, they had like the mustache and everything. So anytime I seen that, I was like, I don't know if I could really get down with them like that. Even their voice and everything like that, because of the accent and everything. So I was just like, man, they got a problem with this whole broken English speaking backwards stuff. Like it was cool
Yeah,
with Yoda, but what are you doing
yeah,
now, yo?
yeah.
But that's
That's
just me. Maybe I'm
yeah. No, I
reaching.
got you. No, I got you. I got you. Yeah, those things they were funny to me. So now I feel like, damn, am I racist? Because I thought it was funny. Thanks, Mr. Will. All right, we're moving on to the we're moving on to the questions, man. All right, I got three quick ones for you. I might even be two. Yeah, I got two
uh,
quick because the first one was more of a joke anyway.
nah,
All
shoot,
right,
man.
two. Well, I mean, so all right. Here's my first question. So when they dropped the Mandalorian into that water, do you think it was clean or hot piss?
Yeah. Oh man, that joint all off the rip because I think it's like the way that it was like sectioned off and everything,
Mm-hmm.
like it was cavernous and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't have an outlet unless with the gate and everything and the tunnels
Yeah.
and the sewer system. So I automatically went to even worse. I'm thinking like it's a sewer plant
Yeah,
where
that's
like
what I
they got
thought
the
too, man.
garbage juice coming out and
Yeah.
everything, like, and you
Yeah.
got them animals in there. What they doing? And the
I
huts
know.
they don't move,
I
so it's
know.
just going straight into the sewer.
I know, man. And his mouth was open in that water too. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what really gave him. That's what really made it killed him.
Oh
It
yeah.
wasn't the snake. It was the water.
Mm-mm.
The snake was
He
in.
got sepsis from drinking that dirty water.
That's what it was. All right. Next question. No judgment, right? But could this have been better as a season of The Mandalorian?
I think that it should have been a continuation of the Mandalorian on the streaming platform of
Okay.
Disney Plus, but I understand why they did it as a movie.
Yeah. All right. This lab. This is this. I think this is probably the best of the three questions I have. All right. So, which is the best newish? Because some of these characters are not quite the
Oh,
same.
you ain't even gotta tell me. I already. Oh man, I got.
The best newish character created by Star Wars and why? Is it the
Yeah.
Mandalorian? Is it Grogu? Is it Ahsoka? Or is it Darth Maul?
With just those options,
Just
it's
four, yeah.
all right. Because I was gonna say, I'll bring highlight to him later, but just those four options, it's easily Darth Maul. I don't care what
Okay,
anybody argue with whoever you want. Darth Maul, from an aesthetic standpoint, that looks
okay,
like the devil.
yeah.
Like then he's got the black robes and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is on some like ninja type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you combine the fact with the dual
Which
lightsaber,
was
which
classic
you
when it
never.
first.
I
It was
want people to
classic in
understand.
19. Yeah,
It's commonplace now, but at the time, that was revolutionary, man. Like that was gangster. Like I
yeah.
was sitting there like,
It's one of the great iconic scenes of the film. Yeah.
yo,
Even
and
even when they Star Wars trailer, they always show that scene with the
yeah,
two lightsaber blades
dude.
coming out because it was just such it's an
Like
amazing
I don't
scene.
care. You can argue with whoever you want. But Darth Maul for me, when I seen like just even the drawings, I was like,
Yeah,
yo, who thought of that? Like
yeah.
that being the tattoo and his people coming in different colors, and then all of a sudden, if you side more side with the Force, whatever, you lean more to that darkish color versus the
Mm-hmm.
lighter brown, beige, opaque colors. Dope, man,
Yeah.
dope.
All right. There it is. Darth Maul.
Darth Maul, easily,
All right.
easily.
Okay. All right, man. What you got for me?
So my first question is, why does Disney just give us the Old Republic game cutscenes as a movie? Like that's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, the scenes are you know what? I'm wondering if we are about to get movies that look like those cutscenes in theaters. Because I think like as we just kind of get more into how artificial intelligence is going to be used in these movies, and the more that actors are justifiably going to want to protect their image and not
Mm.
have their image be put in, and they want to be like the actual actor being there, I wonder if we're going to end up with a movie that is like that cutscene quality telling these Star Wars stories, because those cutscenes are amazing, those by themselves on YouTube. And it
Yeah,
makes me wonder, like, why hasn't somebody just did an hour and a half with that? So I think actually that's what you're about to see in like 5, 6 years.
I ain't mad at it either, man. I hope
Yeah.
so. Like I hope so. My next question is, why give us Grogu but no information whatsoever on his family and his species?
Yeah. So this is what the rumor that I've read is around this is that allegedly
Mm.
when George Lucas sold everything to Disney, one of the stipulations was that Yoda's particular character, origin, and species would never be fully explained.
Mm.
Like that was like the mystery that would always be there. So they could show, as you referenced before, like Yaddle, like back the cartoons with the Darth Maul. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, Darth Tyrannus. that. And obviously we have Grogu now, but apparently there will never be that explanation. So maybe that's the case. It was something I read years ago, like around the time when baby, I'm about to call it Baby Yoda, about the time when Grogu first came out. That's why. So that's what I think. I don't. Beyond that, I don't really have an answer.
No, it makes sense, but it's kind of disturbing because they did that with Wolverine and Snake Eyes and other
Hmm.
characters that had this mystery around them, and then all of a sudden it
Yeah.
was revealed like this is what it is. So
Yeah.
that's funny to me.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we covered the questions. What you got on the popcorn, man?
Yo, man, 3.5 for me. Like I said, I enjoy being in the theater. I enjoy seeing the wonder from young faces, seeing these characters and these things. Star Wars movies, at their best, they always are very clear about who's good and bad. They're very clear about giving you some sort of space fight, like with the ships and the planes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also very clear about giving you new worlds and new characters. And this movie does it. Now it's missing the last thing, which I love, which is the lightsaber fight, but that's fine. I don't get that. So maybe that's the difference between a 4 and a 3.5. But 3.5, absolutely a good film to watch in a movie theater for a movie theater experience. What you
I'm
got?
with you. Same things. I also like the fact that they brought back Zeb from Star Wars Rebels
Yeah,
to
yeah,
help out the
right.
Mandalorian.
Yes,
So
yes. It
shout out
tied
to
that in there. Yep,
yeah,
very
shout
good
out to
tie-in.
Steve Bloom, a known actor
Mm-hmm.
for almost everything that you can imagine, from Samurai Champloo to Wolverine and the X-Men. You name it, he's the voice of almost every character you love.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it is. So shout out to him. Yeah, 3.5. I love that they also allowed a space for Martin Scorsese and a
Mm-hmm.
Steve Bloom and a Sigourney Weaver,
Yeah,
and obviously Pedro Pascal. So it's very
yeah.
eclectic, but they recognize the work that these hardworking actors and actresses put in.
Absolutely, man. And I have to say, I was watching it and I was thinking about Carl Weathers and all that he
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
His character in the show too. Obviously, when we did Action Jackson. We talked about how he had gotten to that point where that was like kind of sort of last major character that he was familiar with, and actually did episodes. Actually directed an episode of The Mandalorian in season 3. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Even Gina Carano, who just fought
yeah,
Ronda Rousey,
yeah.
um, I
Fought.
was really money grab. I was really surprised that they still haven't brought her back. Because it seems like once you told this mantra, this theory, this assessment before, um, Disney has now acquired Star Wars. They've acquired all of like Ladybug and Cat Noir. They
Hmm.
had their own Disney princesses. They own
Hmm.
ESPN. They got the whole WWE partnership.
Hulu,
uh,
everything.
Hulu, Marvel, like they're trying to capture the hearts and minds of every demographic. So
Yeah,
I'm really surprised that they didn't have a strong female presence on there, because they usually do that. But I
hmm,
think what they learned is not to put too much politics and social
yeah,
agendas in there.
yeah.
So that was
In
kind of
in some
refreshing
ways,
in some ways.
in some
Uh,
ways, yeah.
so that was kind of different. But overall, folks, if you're going to go see it, 3.5 by me and CJ. Um,
Absolutely, absolutely,
yeah,
no
man.
doubt, no doubt. All right, man. So just to get to the hot take, so I just want to go first with mine. I
Yeah,
mentioned how there's certain essential elements that I look forward to in Star Wars movies. I want the good versus evil. I want the space fight. I want the new characters and the new worlds. And this movie does it. But I miss the lightsaber fight.
yeah.
And I think this story, obviously, The Mandalorian. I remember when they talked about making this movie, and so at one point, maybe Ahsoka was going to be in it, so that would have been a Jedi, or they said maybe Luke Skywalker would be in it. And I can understand why they don't do it, because I think Star Wars as a product has this idea of like, I want to be able to sell you something new, right? And selling you something new means that some of the things that I really like and love maybe aren't a part of that new marketing
Mm,
plan. You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna buy a Grogu toy,
yeah.
or a Mandalorian action figure the same way somebody else in a different demographic would. I think my hot take is like, as fans of these products, right? As the fans of these movies, these stories, this IP, we also have to realize that it's gonna move on, and as it does, you have to figure out how to like love the thing without feeling like it's got to be your thing anymore. And it's, we were talking about it earlier in the pre-production, and you gave the example of the sports teams, right? And it's like, I'm a Steelers fan, right? But I'm not tied to the fact that Jerome Bettis has to be the best running back for the Steelers. I really hope that there's a one who's as good down the line. I mean, I really hope that Drew Aller or somebody can be better than Ben Roethlisberger was. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like there's also like it's bad when you hold on to the past too much. Maybe you shouldn't have Aaron Rodgers. There's that part of it too. You know what I mean? So it's like I have to also learn now at this stage of my fandom for Star Wars to like sort of like get in the back seat and enjoy the ride and see where this is going to take it. So that's my hot take, man. I know like there's fandom can be sometimes very toxic about these things and about this IP, but I'm trying to be in a space where I can enjoy the journey, enjoy the characters, enjoy the new development, and not like just want to see the lightsaber fight. Although, I would like to see a lightsaber fight.
That's very mature of you, CJ.
that's my. I'm trying to grow, man. I'm trying to grow.
Works in progress.
Yeah,
I would like Raider fan here, or no, aficionado, because that's short for fanatic. I love the fact that Fernando got the Mandalorian jersey from a Star Wars fan, so we have a direct connection there. Hopefully, we have a great year too. My hot take is I just want to see Lucasfilm and Disney try and begin to prioritize the substantial and substantive storytelling aspect. They have a very coherent Star Wars that has a very long-standing, coherent narrative architecture. We talked about the wealthness and the great legacy that they have of all these characters, and it all started from an idea out of George Lucas's head, and now all of a sudden you have all of this pandemonium, both good and bad, that like finances literally other people's side hustles and careers. So you have people that have podcasts, that have they go to play cosplay, they create toys, et cetera. So
a lot of product.
A lot of
eating off Star Wars for a long time.
You know what I mean? So I definitely recognize that wholeheartedly, and I understand, like CJ, like myself, you have people who are genuinely invested just for the love of it. They're not trying to make any money off of it. But yet, there's this incessant franchise expansion and cultural and artistic stature that Star Wars continually, gradually, just outright deteriorates. I don't know how else to put it. You have a Mandalorian and a Grogu, you have Ashoka, you have, for better or for worse, the Acolyte. You have these shows that are produced, and yet they have wide-ranging fail rates. Even with characters that we've grown to love that have come out of nowhere. And we just talked about before Jar Jar Binks, where they literally had to create a scene for the actor to redeem himself as a Jedi, and he gets killed in that joint too. You know what I mean? So, I just say that I would love to see that, the capacity to evoke this mythology, things about Star Wars, and have it resonate the same way with us that it does with the other kids, by sticking to the moral complexities which drew the fandom in, by sticking to the depth and wealth of things we just talked about with the old Republic. You have all these stories that could be told, and yet we still circling back to the same period or periods relatively encompassing the Skywalker family, but then you don't see the Skywalker family. Like they eliminated Mara Jade, they eliminated the Solo twins, they eliminated Ben Skywalker, and give you Kylo Ren. Like these are not the characters that they had. I mean, like whole lineages are just wiped out. You know what I mean? You don't even get to see them, and it's all because of some algorithm or what some suit who isn't truly invested in this focus group, you know what I mean, of a certain demographic. So I just say that to say, Star Wars went from an ordinary blockbuster entertainment to now all of a sudden this corporate entity that is over here trying to generate billions every year. It's not possible, but okay, whatever. I digress. My point is that I just don't want to see that this cultural phenomenon now gets exhausted and diminished by not having the same narrative credibility that it once had.
Dig it. Yeah, it's when I was listening to what you were saying, it reminds me of sort of like the oversaturation that happened with the Marvel films at a point. And remember, then they kind of said, okay, cool, we're gonna not make films for a couple years.
Yeah, less is more.
To like, yeah, less. Yo, always. Less is always more, man. That's less is always more. If you want to build like real anticipation, you can't give people stuff all the time, every day, the same way. So dig that, man. Yo, that's our breakdown of the Mandalorian and Grogu. Once again, Sicky Flores is available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify Podcasts, we're on YouTube, where we want you to like, subscribe, and share. Next week we're back in the movie theaters again, man. Every week we're in the movie theaters. We will be back with Masters of the Universe. We get a chance to
Oh, I
really,
can't wait, man. I wish I still had my
really
toys, yo.
go back and our nostalgia back with that one. So yeah, definitely come check us out. You can follow us on those platforms. Follow us also on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, so we can continue the conversation about these movies. We'll see you next week. Peace.